Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. We will be previewing Test cricket after a long time. It's the 2 months of IPL is taking a lot of T20 cricket that's been going on. But it'll be nice to just have Test cricket back. It's always nice to see players in the whites, and this is going to be an exciting tournament because I think the New Zealand playing England will be always. It's always fun to see that, but New Zealand, who's coming off the are the World T20 champions, and they have a little bit of legway that they need to create. They need to make some wins to continue to be able to defend their title. And England is a new look England, new captain, new coach. A lot of talk about them at this point in time. And they also bringing back their talisman bowlers as well. So it's a lot to talk about. We will get into the thick of it at this point in time. But Musti, of course, as usual, Musti and me will be reviewing it. Musti, your thoughts on this exciting series and your thoughts on the team's perspectives.
I'm so excited. I don't know why I'm so excited. It's not normal to be this excited for a test series. I mean, it's gonna be a good series, but it's not that massive series. I think both teams are in transition. It's not like they're not playing for the championship final or anything like that. But it's just good to see test cricket back in at Lords. Red ball, Duke's ball. It's gonna move around. It's gonna be brilliant to watch. And after 2 months of T20 cricket, I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be a good change. I think that's why I'm excited. And the English summer is always something which is very fascinating to me because I feel that it's a good contest between bat and ball, which you don't see in other test matches or even one-day cricket. But I think in England with the red ball, the bowlers are always in it every day, and so are the batsmen. You have to work for your runs, but you also have to work for your wickets, and I think that's why I'm really excited. And like you mentioned, I think England, new look now, Ben Stokes, Brendan McCullum, everyone has that aggressive brand, in their heads. That's the kind of concept that they feel that England are gonna play. But it's going to be an interesting combination. I think they're both, Ben Stokes the first time he's captaining, McCullum the first time he's going to be, I think, coaching a test team. I don't think he's coached a test team before, so it's going to be a new challenge for him. And they're both aggressive players, but it's going to be a good transition, I think, from Root to Ben Stokes. Very excited. New Zealand, again, they were World Test champions this time last year, and they still are World Test champions. But again, Kane Williamson not in the form that he was a year ago. Ross Taylor has moved on, so there is a transition there. Trent Bolt coming back from the IPL. I don't think he'll play the first test, but yeah, I think for New Zealand as well, they're not in the greatest of form. They lost their warm-up game as well, so they're not in the greatest of form. So I think it's evenly matched contest, but England slight favorites just because I think that a bit of excitement with Ben Stokes there, the leadership role, and Broad and Anderson are also back.
Back, absolutely. I think this is going to be an exciting. Like you said, the English summer was always fun to watch. Your thoughts on England going with a test coach, but different test coach and different white ball coach and stuff like that. I think they've always been known to experiment, but I don't know how I feel about having
So
different
they've
coaches for
gone.
different players.
They've gone as McCullum as the Test coach and their ODI coaches.
I forgot his name.
So okay, they've done that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really agree with that. But
White
let's
ball coach, yeah.
yeah, I don't really agree with that. I think we should have one coach for all formats, but uh, especially because there are going to be players playing in both formats, right? But England have this weird thing. They want to separate all formats.
Yeah.
I guess because of the bubble and everything like that, they wanted to change things up. But I think if McCullum has a good start for England, you might see him take over the limited overs role as well for sure, because that's his forte. It's
Yeah.
strange that they gave him the test and not the T20 one day. So I think you will definitely see him in that role for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of what it is. But and coming to New Zealand, I think, uh, like you said, not in the best of forms, but they've also had some selection issues. Their 11 kind of speaks for themselves, except for maybe just one option. If they go with an all fast bowling option, or do they go with that AS Patel, who's poor guy has
Yeah.
I don't know what you need to do to take a continue in the team. And I think. Irrespective of however the pitches are, I always think that at least having one spinner in the team is always
He
very
picked up a
useful.
fiver in his last test as he hasn't
He's
played for
picked up
like
the 10. No, it was the time when he picked up his 10 for, where that
10
was
for, yeah.
not even the 5 for 10 for in an innings.
Wow, man. Wow.
He hasn't gotten a chance after that. So it doesn't matter whatever you can do. But I think having at least one spinner, irrespective of however the bouncy or juicy the pitches are, I think having one spinner, especially in the second innings, I think it'll always add value to the teams. So I think going with the AS Patel will probably be better for New Zealand. But your thoughts on the New Zealand 11?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. I think a lot will be dependent again on Latham Williamson, and then Conway as well, right? Conway is brilliant in New Zealand, but away from home, he hasn't really reached that mark. So a lot will be on him. Then you have Mitchell, Tom Blunden, Colin de Grandhomme. So they have the batsmen there. I think they're going to miss Ross Taylor for sure because he
Yeah.
just provided that stability. He gave that assurance that listen, I'm there. Even if he wasn't scoring runs, he was consuming those dot balls and he was soaking up the pressure, and someone at the other end would deliver. So I think they're going to miss him there for sure. But Tom Latham and Will Young, that partnership will be key because in England, again, if you lose wickets early, it puts a lot of pressure on your middle order. You need to get that 40, 50 run start, which is a very good start. I think in England, it's not like India or something where you need a 100 run partnership. I
Yeah.
think if you get through the 40, 50, it's good. But then you have to capitalize because remember, the Duke ball swings after the 20th over. Me and you learned that over the last series when India was there that
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ball swings late. So I think it's important for, the openers to protect your middle order. And then again, Williamson, man, I don't know, like he's not fully fit. He had a very poor IPL, retained him for 14 crores at Sunrisers, but that's fine. Like it's just that every player can go through that dip. He's had a great career. He's had a great few years. This last year has been a bit rough on him, which is fine. But I think the character that he is, he'll fight back. Much will rely on him. And if they can chip in and score these runs, they have the bowling. You have Wagner, you have Matt Henry there, Sadi, Jameson, and Bolt to come in the second test. So you have options in your bowling. It's just about who can chip in with the runs, and I think that's where Latham will play a big part.
Absolutely, I think like you said, I think he's also the guy that informed for them, and Kane Williamson, Devon Conway, Daryl Mitchell, who's obviously Kane Williamson has confirmed that he'll be playing at five because of the injury to what's the player's name? There
Yeah,
was an Henry Nichols so there is an injury to Henry Nichols. So I think Daryl Mitchell played at number five,
yeah, Darren
and
Mitchell
then
again coming from the IPL. Him, Williamson, and Conway are coming from the IPL, so they will be a bit fatigued. But yeah, I think they'll have to just quickly adjust to this format and go from there. From that sense. But if you look at that again, it's that main man Williamson. I just hope the way Conway and Mitchell they can contribute somehow, pitch the runs because they have the bowling then to cover.
yeah, absolutely. I think 100% agree, and I think the England 11 has already been named. And that's how they do their work. But I think Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad coming in. I think Matthew Potts will get his Test debut call. They have been struggling with finding a more consistent number three fast bowler to support the Broad and Anderson. They've tried a few options. We've seen the likes of Mark Wood. We've seen the likes of so many other players.
I think Mark Wood is a great third bowling option, but
I
but
think he's also been injured. He's
yeah, I think
been
they reserve him for us as overseas tours
yeah,
because he has that extra pace, right?
yeah.
And over here, I think it was between Matthew Potts and Overton. Ben Stokes
Overton.
denied this in the press conference, but Matthew Potts does play for Durham, which is Ben Stokes' county. They played together just recently, so I think there was a bit of bias over there. I wouldn't say bias, but like I think Ben Stokes, Matthew Potts, he deserves it. He's been really good in the county championship so far. So I think he deserves his place. It was between him and Overton. So if he doesn't perform, then you always have Overton as backup. You have an option. But I think in England, it's about those seaming conditions, line and length more than pace. So I think that's why they're going. If this series was happening somewhere else, I don't think Stuart Broad and Anderson would be partnering up again. But it's good to see them back. There was a lot of drama in West Indies. They lost that series without them. And yeah, Bad Boys 4, man, part 4. These guys are back, and I think those two characters, they're gonna make it a point, like whatever, either like in a subtle celebration kind of thing or something. They're gonna make it a point that listen, whatever you did was wrong. We're back, yeah,
Yeah,
and
I agree
we'll
100%.
but one
Great positions for Ollie Pope and Zach Crawley as well. You know that
yes.
they will be playing at number opening. Crawley will be opening, and Pope is slated to come in at number three.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was going to come to because Ollie Pope has never played at number 3, even in county.
Yeah,
For his county team, he does not play at number 3. So this is the first time he's going to play there. There was talks that Root might play at 3, but I think Root is sticking to 4 now, and Pope will go. So that'll be interesting. I honestly really liked Ollie Pope. He caught my eye in the Pakistan series in 2020, that first series after COVID. I felt that he has the shot selection. He's confident guy. His timing is good, but it's about consistency. It's about concentration. I think his concentration levels need to improve. He needs to stick in there. When the going goes tough, make sure he consumes the pressure, absorbs the pressure, and yeah, take it from there because he does have the shots.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just about concentration. And I think one person very, very unlucky to miss out is Harry Brooks. I felt that he deserved a spot because he's been outstanding in the county championship, man. He's been smashing it in every game. I think it was between him and probably Pope. Like I don't think he would have opened. So yeah, like Alex Lees is there. Yeah, it's probably him and Pope. So I felt very unlucky that Harry Brooks missed out. Oh, no, actually not Pope. It was between him and Johnny Bairstow. I think
Bairstow and number
Harry
five.
Brooks would
Yeah,
have batted at five,
yeah.
and I honestly would have gone Brooks over Bairstow. I know that's a big, big call, and I love Bairstow maybe because he left Sunrisers. I'm being a bit less biased now. But yeah, I think yeah, like if you look at it from the other point of view, Bairstow is like international player. He has the experience, and you have to back your players. So, but watch out for this guy when he does get a chance. I think he in England, especially, I think he will score some runs. But yeah, I think no complaints. I just felt hard, like it's a bit like I felt bad that he was
Harsh.
selected. Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
even harsh. Like Bairstow is a class player, but
yeah, I think Johnny Bairstow will easily take that. I mean, it's almost impossible to let Johnny go off, especially he brings in that experience, he brings in that class, and I think Johnny will. It'll take a lot to drop Johnny from this, and I think
100%. Yeah,
I think England, they've already tried a lot of chopping and changing. I think they
too
start
much.
sticking to their yeah
At least they're playing now. They're big players, man.
their
At
big
least now
players.
they're
Yeah.
playing because they stop that rotating stuff. One question that I had for you is Josh Butler. I know it was T20, it was IPL, but do you see room for him in this team in the future?
It's going to be hard if he can wicket keep. Then he brings if he can continue to wicket keep, then yeah, he brings in a solid option at number seven instead of Ben Foakes, because I think he's obviously a significantly better batsman than Ben Foakes is. But I think wicket keeping wise, he has had a somewhat of a poor run with the wickets. And it takes a lot out of you to be able to wicket keep for 2 3 days in a row. You can always there could be days where you have to almost keep for 3 days because your batting might not be doing that well. Batting unit might not be doing that well, so you end up keeping for 3 days or so, and it takes a lot out of you. Josh Butler is probably now looking at more white ball cricket. He's also at that age where now he's probably going to start thinking about letting one of the letting red ball go to continue prolong his white ball career, so to say. So, I think maybe in the near future, maybe there is definitely some scope for him. But I think if England's starting to look long term, they'll have to look past Josh Butler at this point in time.
Yeah,
He's
hundred
very
percent.
very
And
big player.
I'm actually, Ben Foakes deserves his chance as well. I think as a keeper, if you just look at isolation, his keeping skills, I think he's the best in England. But
Yeah.
yeah, and also with the bat, he's done well in subcontinent. So let's see how what he does over here. But I always love to watch Butler bat. So I'd like to see him in
Especially
the.
after the season that he's had with the Rajasthan Royals as well. It's been fantastic.
And speaking of the third bowlers, we mentioned Wood. The Wokes also, I think he might be injured, so he's also an option. So they have depth over there. It's just about having people fit. There's talks that Moeen Ali now spoke to Ben Stokes since the McCullum, and maybe he might be making a comeback. Adil
Yeah,
Rashid also coming out of retirement. We don't know what's
yeah.
going to happen, but that's what happens, right? When you have a new regime, other players become
Start
interested.
talking about it. Yeah, yeah. True.
Yeah, but
We'll
yeah,
see how it goes.
yeah,
Your
man.
prediction for the series?
It's a two-test match series, right?
Yeah.
Let me confirm before we get carried away. Uh, First, second test. It's a three-test match
Three
series. Yeah,
test match series. Yeah.
I'm going 2-1 England.
Fair enough. I
If
think that's a
they
good
if they
shout.
lose this series, there's going to be a lot of pressure because this and no matter what, like if you look at the cricket coverage, especially Test cricket, the biggest coverage is in England. You open Sky Sports, you open BT Sports, and everything. Everyone is at this series. You
Yeah.
won't be. It's not like any other Test cricket match wouldn't be advertised like this or like in the media or whatever. But England, they're very big on their Test cricket. There's also some talks that the Lords ground hasn't been full. It hasn't been sold out yet, but you will see over the course of the summer that especially when India comes to town, it's going to be full. And Test cricket is what England thrive on, so there will be a lot of pressure on England. But there's some positivity going in, I think, with the new regime. So let's see what happens.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be an exciting series, so to say, and this is the beginning of a long summer for England for sure.
Yeah.
So let's see how that goes. That wraps it up. Any last thoughts?
Your prediction?
2-1 to England as well. I think I'm
Sure.
sticking to that. Yeah.
Going same this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Excited for it. I will catch you hopefully throughout the series, and yeah, a lot of
As
good.
always, man. Take care.
Take care.